Good morning and welcome to Carnation Crafts. We are live in the Carnation Crafts TV studios, and as ever it is lovely to have your company. So we have got the gorgeous Vibrance of Autumn collection. This is the last show. It's your last chance to get it while the show is live, so today's the day. I will just say a quick note to just say there is a postal strike, so if you do buy it today you may not receive it until Tuesday, which obviously would be very unusual for Carnation Crafts, but it is just to let you know and keep you posted. And so you can see what's going on. So what is Vibrance of Autumn? Well, it is the most stunning collection as always, but as I said previously, it's incredibly special. We've got this amazing book shape, which is so unusual in the industry anyway, but also it gives us a massive scope to go ahead with our crafting, which is always lovely to see. It is all about autumn. It's those gorgeous colours. This will fall in line exactly with the colour of autumn that you've had previously. Carnation Crafts saying good morning. Good morning, Carnation Crafts. I hope you're okay. I don't know who that is, so we're just going to say hello, good morning, Carnation, and I'm on my best behaviour. We have got all of the different dies coming through that will bring through all of the autumn cards, but what's more important is to remember that they are not just for autumn. Yes, they're brought together as a collection that represents autumn, but they are also individually usable in alternative methods as well. It's just as a collection it comes together. So you've got deep in a book, which is beautiful. This is a really unusual shape. You've got your little corner and side frames there with your sunflowers. We're going to go through the board and I'll show you all of them. But all of autumn is a really special side frame with those gorgeous, gorgeous sunflowers going through and all the decoupage elements. You have got seasonal treats there with your sloes, your jams and all your extra elements. You've got the anemone trio, which is your gorgeous little corner element. Oh, it's Harvey. Hey, Harvey. We love Harvey. He's very lovely. And then we've got, I can't read it from this far away, our, what's it say, Taz? Our Little Adventure?
Out into Adventure.
Oh, I was so close. I haven't got my glasses on. Out into Adventure. And then Changing with the Season, which is that leaf is stunning. Wait till you see the boards for that. And then above that, you've got the larger set, which is your Woodland Wandering. That's got an amazing perspective piece in it as well. So we're going to go through and have a look at the boards. But before I get to that point, I do want to just point out the Perfect Papers, which are your little companion to your collection. Vibrance of Autumn Perfect Papers are just stunning. It's got the most glorious colourway going through it. Really, really, well, it's autumn, isn't it? It looks like autumn. And again, this will go with all of the stuff that you've had for Colour of Autumn last year. So remember, those collections can work perfectly together and in harmony, but so can they with other collections as well. Perfect Papers are not paper. It is cardstock. It's 300 GSM. You get 6 colours and there's 8 of each colour. So you're getting a massive pack of 48 sheets. So no matter what you're sort of crafting with this collection over the coming years, you will probably have enough paper to do it. There are backing papers on the Carnation Crafts website as well, and there are also inserts, and this time there are templates to make box frames so that these cards, certainly with the book, can be made deeper and you can do sort of different things with your crafting. So it's beautiful. So just to let you know, the number for the collection, if you're going onto the website to buy it this morning, is 220901. That's for the full collection there. The show price today is $119.99. However, there is a code that you can use, which is CCVA10. Put that in at checkout and that'll give you a 10% discount on the collection that you buy. So you're getting a little bit off there. And also, if you want to buy the alternative colorways, that code will give you 10% off those as well. So that's very exciting. Sam says, good morning, Carla and Taz. Just ordered my collection and a few other bits and can't wait to play with this. Sam, you're going to have so much fun with it. It's quite an unusual collection, not so much in the fact that the colourways are different, because obviously it's autumn, so it was guaranteed to be slightly different. But I think both the book and the lantern card shape is separate to the bundle, but both of them are quite unusual to craft with. So we're going further on the journey, aren't we? We're going further with the crafting, so I like that a lot. So yeah, this is your last chance live show to get this collection. So today's the day, but again, just to reiterate, they may not arrive until Tuesday because of the current postal strike. So let's have a look at the boards and see what you're getting for your money. This is your gorgeous, gorgeous deep in a book card shape, and it is stunning. It's absolutely incredible. The ingenuity behind this is breathtaking. Look at this. This is your base. Now, if you don't want it to be a book, you can cut the spine and just use it as 2 card shapes, and you're cutting both at the same time, always useful. However, you've got your spine there to create this gorgeous book. You've got this piece here, and this creates your pages. You can see it's got the little pips just running through that come, and that's where your hinges are going to sit. And when we talk about your hinges, we're talking about these 3 elements here. So there you go through the page, they bind together, and then you glue them to the little places that the hinges are here. So obviously your book is going to be as thick as these hinges will allow. However, I will show you another book, I'll show you a sample, and you'll be able to see how that builds to a much taller scope. I love these. I think these corner sentiments are amazing. There's something so uniquely special about having a sentiment in the corner of your card. So I am really taken with those. You get all of your layers. These can be used as tags inside the book, so we can make those memory books, those gorgeous pieces of ephemera that all tuck in. You've got your gilded corners, or they can cut them in any colour, of course. And then you have got all your little extra autumn leaves. It's beautiful. It's just incredibly diverse. Now, this does obviously come in a collection that's called Vibrance of Autumn, but the book itself is going to be an all year. It doesn't matter. If you're making a gift or if you want to make the most special card, this is the one that we're going to go to all year round. It can be for Christmas. It can be for all different things. As Taz was saying yesterday, it would make a great little advent thing that you could put little pieces in and you could take away. Was that the lantern that you were saying? But this would be as well.
Would be a cocktail recipe.
Oh, cocktail recipes.
Because you can use this slow in the gin.
We'd be good with a cocktail recipe book, Miss Taz.
We could get through it all in a night.
All in one. I've actually got a cocktail shaker downstairs, so we could have the most fun.
So have I. We could do 2 at once.
We could be Tom Cruise. Didn't he do something with cocktails? I've got no clue what I'm talking about at this stage. This is your artwork for this book. So you get the vignettes. These come from the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. All of your artwork is free for all of the Carnation craft collections. You simply go to the marketplace. My brain. Go to the website, go to downloads, go to free downloads, and then at the right hand side at the bottom you can type in the collection that you want. And when you put in Vibrance of Autumn, it brings up all of your vignettes. Simply go through the checkout process with your free vignettes and your free backing papers, your free inserts and your free templates, and go through, and it's all free obviously. You put them onto your computer and you print them out. My advice to you is print them on ProPrint if you can, because ProPrint is obviously so much stronger than normal paper, and it's going to make a complete difference to the colour that you get as the outcome. Beautiful stuff. Linda says the artwork is just stunning. Yeah, Linda, you're completely right. It really is. I mean, the artwork for Carnation is always stunning, but what I love about Carnation is that they can change the colours so dramatically to create something completely different, and that's really nice to have. So that is your Deep in a Book frame, and then we're going to look at this beautiful, gorgeous, I love this so much, All of Autumn. It's so pretty. To have that gorgeous piece on the side of any card is just extraordinary, and it's so vibrant. So when we piece that onto a piece of plain card, like so, that is just incredible, right? And I think it's the fact that it's tonally so beautiful and that it goes with so many things. Remember, obviously, when we're looking at the colour wheel, the colours that are in this are going to go with so many other colours as well, so it'll work across the board. There are other colourways available as well on the website, so if you didn't want it in the yellows and the reds, there will be alternative colours, but man, it's pretty. And I love the fact that we've got these different corner elements that we can use, because they finish our cards, they give us that wow and the pizzazz. And also, as a beginner, something like this really does help to create some part of that canvas before we go any further, so it's less intimidating as we're crafting. We have, this is, I think this is my favourite. There's something about the artwork on this. It is so pretty, and it's, hold on, I want to show you that on white as well, because I think the black absorbs a lot of that colour. But the colourway on that, isn't that just incredible? It's the gradient going down from the red to the cream is just absolutely stunning. Look at this. Just the two of these together. wowzers, you know. We create so simply, don't we, with Carnation, because we don't need to worry about whether they're going to go together or whether they're not, because we know they're going to go together. We know that all of the vignettes are going to work. We know that we can piece it together, and no matter what we put together, it will work. So all we're worried about is composition, and that's a nice place to be, because we've got so many options available to us. So that's your gorgeous autumn leaf. That can obviously be put both ways as well, so it works as a whole. Wheeler's favourite, the trio, I can't say it, it's never going to come out. You say it, Taz.
Anemone.
There you go, I can't. I just can't say it. The Anemone trio. So you've got your beautiful set here, and these are so, I don't mess with the boards too much, but if we start to cup these through, and so if you're using a ball tool and you work on these from the front and you cup that forward, look at how that just springs to life in that really simple way. Tiny bits of shaping with Carnation make such a difference, don't they? Really pretty. And again, it's got its own layer. It has got a split die here, so you can do over the edge card shapes as well. Beautiful to have, beautiful to look at. The gorgeous stairway, we'll turn it the right way around because it'll help you see things. Oh, I've got a couple that are the wrong way around. So you've got Arlo the dog, who is just lovely in his jumper with that gorgeous little collar, and it looks like wool, doesn't it? It looks like a proper jumper. And then you've got your little brush for your feet. You've got your little rocks here so you can create around the steps. So you've got those grounding devices coming through, and then you've got this gorgeous stairway. I love that there's a little gap here. Now, it would have been easy to make this a square. We can cover that element really simply by using very small elements. So you can cover it up. But what I also love is that we can have little creatures just sitting underneath the stairwells there, you know, so we can play in different ways. You can either cover it or you can utilize it, and that's important. So they give us all of these options with Carnation. Then we've got your gorgeous set here. I think this is an absolute boon. This whole sheet is just incredible. We've got your gin. We've got your slows to make your slow gin, and then we've got your small jam pot and your large jam pot. We've got these little pumpkins that sit at the front of this basket if you want them to, or they'll sit just as a grounding device. So putting this, for instance, in front of the bottle of gin, just at the bottom of a card, super pretty. All these ideas, all these elements that come together to allow us to build and to grow are just insanely awesome. But this, I think that is just so pretty, that set of slows. And also, you'd never normally get a die like that, but remember, that could be grapes if you were doing a vine, you know, thing. So if you've got the wine bottles from previous collections, you could say that that is a, you know, a grapevine kind of thing. There's different ways of using them, so don't think that you're, you know, put into a little box. Excuse me. That's just incredible. I will say it again, I've said it before, when we're looking at Carnation and you've got something like that, we've got a really incredibly talented artist and a team of artists who create artwork, and it's that thing where we're talking about actual pieces of art that we are given to use free to create our cards. So instead of it being, you know, a stock image or something like that, it's an actual artist that's sitting and painting these with all of the ideas. And we're crafters, so we might not have the skill, and some of us will, but we might not have the skill to create that ourselves. But we now have all of that at our own fingertips, and that's why these collections are so important. Love, love, love the little woodland creatures. Love the trees. I love that forest effect. Remember, bring your stags into this, all the different creatures that we've had in the past that can all be utilised with those trees. Get all of your dies out and play and just, you know, feel it through. It's a bit like the idea of fuzzy felt when you were a kid, and you could add all of those elements and the little ambulances and all the little things that you would have in fuzzy felt, which I loved. So that's not all we've got. We do have this lantern card shape, which I'm currently destroying the board for. And this is really special. This is different. It's not in the bundle, so it is a separate item. It won't come with the bundle if you've bought it, but it is absolutely incredible. The number for this is 220909. It's got a show price of $29.99. If you buy this on its own, it will have a $2.95 postage and packing cost to it, because Carnation do free P&P for anything that is over £50. You'll get your 10% discount on this if you use your code CCVA10, so you will still get your 10% discount on that. That code just to point out the CCVA10, that will give you a 10% discount on anything that is to do with the Vibrance of Autumn collection. It will not give you 10% across the board on the website. If you want 10% across the board, you need to sign up for the newsletter, and the newsletter will have a code in it for you to use, and you can use that across the whole of the site. So this, we've demoed with this a lot. I'm going to demo with it again today, mainly because I want to bring in all of the other elements from the main collection, and the book takes just a little bit too long to build. However, if you want to see the book being built, and I will do hopefully more tutorials on it, then you can absolutely go to YouTube and you can watch the shows on Monday with Dave Bradford. Both the first and the last show had us building those books and showing you how to use the hinges, showing you how to piece it all together. So you can see that being built in those two shows. But the lantern shape's clever. So you've got all of your base card, you've got your mats and layers, and then you've got this piece, this white piece, and this can be bent to create, it almost looks that way anyway, doesn't it, when you've got it this way because of the shadow. So remember, if you're just using your decoupage elements here, use it on foam tape to raise it like it has been here, and it gives you almost that 3D effect anyway. But we can play with this base piece and we can curve it, so you'll get this full curvature on your lantern. Now you can keep it flat as it is, or you can cut the pips around the doors and the little windows and open them up and put things behind them. Tiny lights, because you've got this filigree coming through, so lots of different ways to play with this. It's an incredible card shape, it really is. You also are going to get your candles and your bright light from your candles, that shine that comes forward. So it's really, really stunning. You do also get artwork for that as well, up to you how you choose to cut it, how you choose to work with it. You can cut this in mirror card and it would look extraordinary, wouldn't it? Silver mirror, you could use it with gold mirror, all different ways, but it's so absolutely stunning. That artwork also free for you on the Carnation Crafts website, and Carnation also have a completely free angel policy, meaning that you can sell anything at all that you cut. So instead of saying you can sell anything that you make, which you absolutely can, you can sell anything that you cut. So you can cut bags of vignettes and you can sell them, and you know, you can cut bags of stuff to make up card, you know, where you would go to a craft fair and you can do a card kit. You can sell those. That's absolutely fine. The only thing that you cannot sell are the original files. So anything that you've cut is yours and free to do. So I'm hoping it's okay with Miss Taz. I'm going to do some finished samples, just show you some bits and pieces about what it looks like as a whole, and then we're going to get to demo. The first thing I want to show you is deep in a book. We've got these two amazing samples of this from the gorgeous Janine. So this is the first. We'll have a look at this one first, because this is its, not to disparage anything that Janine's done, but this is the most basic of the two. It's absolutely stunning. So you can see the depth on it here, and you can see that we've got a little bit of decoration on the back there. This is held together by the tiny magnets. Now I don't know if all of you have heard of the magnets that Carnation are doing, but they're tiny little wee dinks. They're lovely, but it means we can do closures like this. So the magnet is hidden just behind this panel, just there, and there is a magnet hidden in here. You can almost see the outline of it there, and it's just hidden between the two. So you're going to take two pieces of card, you're going to glue the magnet on the inside, glue these together so it can't be seen on the front or the back. Make sure that that goes in the right place. So if you're using magnets, the best way to do that is put your magnet where you want it here. Make sure you've got your magnet in your piece of card, put them together and then glue the back piece, so you know that it's closed in the right place and you know that it's sitting exactly where it should be. Easy to do, really easy to do. The worst part about working with magnets, especially when they're hidden, is if we stick this first and then try and get the magnet to fit. So always make your magnet fit first and then seal it at the back. It's going to be easier for you to work with. But I love the way that Janine's done this with that strap on the book, and then using this as the opener for it is just so pretty. And all of these elements are elements from that die. So for all of these are from the deep in the book. These are the little layers that you get inside there, and she's used them as tags, which is so clever. Again, you've got your page pieces here that she's used to create the pockets. Again, another tag. So you've got this beautiful sort of waterfall element here. I don't want to break it, so I'm going to be very careful how I go with it. But you've got, look at this. So beautiful, right? all those little elements to make those little pages. Really sweet, really clever. Magnet closure. You've got little pockets on the inside, so we've stuck 2 pages together but only on the very outside edges, which means we can put in little notelets inside it. These are the hinges that I was talking about. So you use these hinges to create your pages and put it together. All of these things are all coming, except for these, which will be just your standard dies, your scalloped edge dies, but they're all coming from the main collection. So you've got all of your little elements and your pieces to build up. It's just beautifully done, right? There's something so gorgeous about it. You've got that kind of mirrored stuff here where you've got that piece of plastic coating, and we could put photographs in there. Just so many ways of playing. It's gorgeous. Janine is a genius. We know this already. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But that is, of the 2 that she made, the simple version. I know, right? But she did do a much more complex one. This has had 3 stuck together. So the way Janine has done this is, if I open it out from the inside, you'll just see on the corner, it's going to be harder for you to see it than it is for me, but there is a piece of cardstock here, and it's covering. So it's not that the book die itself will allow you to create it to be this thick. It's that by using a piece of card and hiding our workings, we can piece them together. You can have it this thick, you know, this thick, whatever you want to do. It's about making it work for you, and you just use the different hinges. Now, I don't know how easily you'll see this, but I do want to try and show you. Just down the side here, you'll see that Janine has got 3 sets of hinges. You can just see it. So she's used it all to make those thicker pieces, and she's written the most beautiful story. But what I wanted to show you more than that are these pieces. So the outside here, if you go onto the Carnation Crafts website and you go to where you're getting those free backing papers, one of them in this case, you've got the backing papers and the inserts, but one of them is called Textures and Patterns, I think. And it gives you all this leather work, there's brick work, there's wooden textures, beautiful. But one of them is a template, and it's got all the score lines and the cut lines for you to make these pages, which are thick, deep box pages. Can you see? Held together here with foam. And you get to make these really gorgeous box frames, and you can put them all together so that when I turn this, you can just see you've got that depth. So it's deeper than a normal page. It's almost a box frame in and of itself. So you get this really gorgeous dimension on it. And she's done it on all the pages here. Look at this. So you can see you're looking through. There's a story to tell. We're going into the forest. It's so cute. And then just, this is a really good one if I can work it, just to show you the depth of them. We're using that template. You can see that that's a box there. So it's a little box frame, and they're free to us on the Carnation Crafts website. But isn't that absolutely incredible? Most beautiful thing. She's done such a corking job with that. So that is your deep in a book. It's also a really great way of showing you all the different vignettes that come through as well. This is one I made yesterday for the lantern card shape. The lantern card shape you can do so much with. So you've got all of your elements coming through, those gorgeous burst of florals that we've got, and the, you know, the slows and everything that impacts us for autumn. And then you've got your little secret doorway with your little secret squirrel inside it. So again, the lantern card shape, incredibly diverse and incredibly easy to use. We've got, I'll just show you a couple more and then we'll get on with demo. But we can make this more simple. Now, all of this here, this is just held together with foam, but we're raising up. We've got that lift. So we create the shadow here, and it means we can tuck things behind. That gives us this element for the trees where it's almost like they're disappearing into the top. So this is the storytelling element, isn't it? This is where the imagination goes, because what we don't realize is that when we're looking at a picture like that, we automatically understand that that tree, there's a tree top to it. So we take our imagination a little bit further by doing that. So always think of those things. When you've got something like the tree where it's got the flat top, if you're able to put it behind something, behind a layered aperture, you're telling the story. It goes just that little bit further. And that's absolutely incredible. That's from the gorgeous Pam. Thank you, Pam. That was incredible. This I love. Those are so special. Those sentiments are incredibly special. Love them. And I just love the way that all comes together. Those golds. Mirror cards important, isn't it? But that using that free artwork. So this is the book this is the book. This is, you know, taking away the sidelines for the actual spine of the book and just using it as a card shape. All the ways to play. All the ways to play. It's finding the dies and making them for you work the hardest that they can, because you've paid for it. So make it work the hardest it can for you. Take it to every level you can take it, because it gives us so much more back, and we get to practice crafting in different ways. I love that. Absolutely love that. It's so pretty. It's so elegant. It's so... There's a lot of colour on that. For a card with the sentiment that it is, there's a lot of colour on that, but it's incredibly understated. It's elegant, it's refined, and it's very tranquil. It's lovely, and I just think this is what I mean when I say get the most out of your dies. Never think, well, it's got all of these colours in it, so I would only be able to use it at certain points in the year. That's not true. That's just not true. You can use them in so many diverse ways. Hey, oh, that's lost its head. But anyway, you can see using those sunflowers, all of that colour coming through. Actually, the fact that that has lost its head just shows you how crisp and in-depth that artwork is. It's just so vibrant. Absolutely stunning. Look at these. Just gorgeous. I love Carnation crafts. I've said it before and I will say it again. I think they are incredible, and it's not to do with the fact that I work with them. It's to do with the fact that I am challenged as a crafter when I receive their dies to be able to create in such a different way. I want to be challenged. I was a beginner when I started with Carnation crafts. I'd never made cards before. So the fact that I keep going on my journey, and now I'm happily using acetate, and I'm happily using vellums and different things to make the cards in different ways, putting tiny lights in. You know, they've taken me on that journey. Nobody held my hand. Carnation gave me the tools to be able to do it myself. That's important. So should we do a demo, Miss Taz?
Please.
Is that your way of saying shush?
No, I just want to see a demo.
So we're using that lantern card shape. So just to show you all the metal that comes in that, we have got all of these elements coming through. So to create this card shape, I have used the largest die. So the outside die, that's the one we always go to for our card shape. Try and cut it in a 350 GSM if you can, or heavier even, but try not to go below 300. If you go through it below 300, it is going to fall over. We put weight on Carnation craft cards because we're using those dies, we're using pin flare. All of those things create weight, and consequently you need it to have that support, because if it is flimsy, it's just going to waff over when somebody walks past it. So you've got that really lovely tent base there, and that is simply a case of scoring your second one at 1/2 inch with your red liner tape and putting them together. I'm going to go in with some chunky foam tape here, and I'm using those perfect papers. Aren't they pretty? I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it's a bit of glue. It wouldn't surprise me. So what I've done here, instead of using the perfect papers with their matching tone on tone, because this darker piece here does have a lighter tone matching it, as always with Carnation, but I've put the cream on instead. Now what that does is impacts the colour behind it, because it makes it much more, it stands out so much more. That outline is just very vivid because we've used the cream on top. So again, it's all your playways. How are you going to use it, and how are you going to make it different? And that's what makes your card completely different to my card. And that's why we can make 1,000 different cards with the same collection. So I'm using my 5mm. It's insulation tape that's for double glazing. So just go down to a hardware store or to your glazers and ask for insulating, double-sided insulating foam tape. And you can get different heights. And I'm just going to place this on here. Push, pull. And that's going to set it where I need it to be. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Now with this main card shape that we've got here, and then you've got this beautiful filigree layers. I was talking about this yesterday, but I will sort of just reiterate. This is so gorgeous just on its own, but there's ways of playing with it. It has pips. You can just see them, I think, on camera, where it's not cut. So you can see where it's cut, and then it has the gaps in those. We can cut through those with a craft knife, and that will open the door. It allows the door to open, which is really sweet, or the windows. We can actually cut it away completely and have it completely open inside as well, so you've just got the framework. So either way that you want to play it, you can put your tiny lights around. You can do so many things just with this one card shape. It's incredible. So when I'm using it, I am very specific with my foam tape, because these have got cut lines across. so it bends. So I need to support it. So I've got my foam tape here sitting on the back of this panel so that it will support. Nothing is going to sag, it's going to be supported. And again, I've put it on the top panel here so that this won't drop. So you can just see on that panel, I've used the foam tape. It just makes it stand out in that way. If, however, you're going to use the door and you're going to open the door, you need to make sure, obviously, you wouldn't put this foam tape on. I know that sounds obvious, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to remove this. I can't do my little trick with this because I'm not going to take all the foam tape off, but I am going to take off the parts that are the most important. The rest is support. So this crossbar that I've got here, I can leave. I need these two to stick and I need the top to stick, and that's enough for me. I don't need to remove the rest. And then we're going to try and place it down. Now, as always, I can't lean over, so I might not get it exactly straight. Apologies, but it is what it is. It's better than seeing my great big grey noggin. Pop this on here and put it down, okay? Look how beautiful that is. It's really pretty, right? There's something very, I don't know what the word is, elegant about it. It's so pretty. So I'm going to pop these down. The great thing for me about Carnation is I'm the least graceful person in the world and the least elegant person in the world. But when I'm using Carnation, I get to pretend just for a minute that there is some grace and dignity about me. Right, I'm going to use my pokey, and I've got these layered up. And I've obviously done that for speed. These have just been put on with some wet glue, just some PVH, Carnation Crafters Everyday Glue that I've used. And I'm just going to place them on. Again, I cannot lean over, so I am guessworking here, but we're just placing down. So pretty. I love how the more cream that we add onto here, the more this stands out. We start to really pull forward because that is almost like a drop shadow. So it gets sort of more pronounced the more colour I put on top, and especially the lighter colours. It's just a really glorious element. Up. That's not going to work, Miss Towers. Hold on. There we go. So just place it through. Make sure it's straight. I can't, but you should. I've realised that most of my cards, when I do it on this channel, because I can't lean over, actually on the other one as well, they kind of look drunk. But you get the gist, and that's the important point. So you see how, do you see what I mean about this sort of starting to look darker? Because on the white, we dampen the colour with white. As we start to add more colour, the impact gets greater on that darker piece behind, because we're creating what looks like a drop shadow. So just placing these through, try and make sure they're even, and place on. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? Pop a sentiment in the middle of that, you've got a card. Crazy, crazy gorgeous. Now, we can either work with card shapes or we can use them simply as a kind of backdrop. So what I can do with this is use it as a lantern. I could use it as, you know, I call it a market cross. I think you guys call it something completely different. It's a market cross in the town that I live with, about like a bandstand kind of thing. You can use it as any of those things, or you can just use it as a shape. And by that I mean you don't need to take into consideration the fact that it is a lantern. You can just use it as a background. So that's a nice place to be, and that's what we're going to do pretty much today. So I'm just going to look at some different elements and bring these through. So I'll show you the pieces that I'm going to use. I can choose to use other pieces as well. I've got little bags of all of my stuff at the side of me, and that's how I craft. I've always crafted that way with Carnation. When I'm working downstairs and I'm trying to get my demos ready, you would not recognize my desk as having any wood underneath it. It is absolutely covered with all of these vignettes, hundreds of them, and I just sit and I pick and I play. That's the joy of crafting. So with this, I'm going to corner it out. But what I want to do is make sure that leaf is simple things. I want to make sure that leaf is leaving the card, because it's about making sure that the eye goes further than the card shape, just because it uses that storytelling element. So I'm going to push it right to the corner, and I've got that leaf hanging over. The reason that's important, and it's such a small detail, but the reason that's important is it creates a shadow behind of the leaf, and that is going to give the recipient something else. So I'm taking this through, A little bit of pin flare. I'm not worried about lift on this so much. So right to the edge and allow it to just overhang. That shadow is going to play, and when you can see the shadow here on this, as those shadows play, it becomes more defined. So just think about placement and where it's going to go and how it's going to change the overall view of what you're creating. I'm going to use this brick. I love this so much. The perspective on that is just crazy awesome, right? And you see how it fits perfectly with this lantern card shape. So what's happening here is where you've got the perspective of the bridge, it's mirroring the window behind. So it looks so 3D, it's unreal. It's so clever. So for this, I'm going to use wet glue because I'm obviously not going to shape out the bridge. The perspective is already there for me. I don't need to do anything with it to create any more detailing. Tiny bits of glue, tiny bits. So just a little bit on the bridge at the bottom. That's going to be my main sticking focus just here. So this is where I'm going to put the most glue because it's going to be where I want it to stick the most. These bits I'm not too worried about because I might need to tuck things behind them. What I am going to do is just place a tiny dab there and a tiny dab there. And that is going to hold it enough for me. I'm going to raise this up and I'm going to tuck just to that center point and I'm going to place. And now we have grounded out our card. We've got a grounding device at the bottom of our card. So we're now able to think of ourselves as walking forward to be able to walk into that door. We've created a story and we've elongated it by putting this at the side. So it's the small things that we think about with composition that allow us to create new elements. It's the Emperor's New Clothes, isn't it? There's nothing here. All we've done is taken it off the side of the card, but it causes shadows and the shadows create something different. It's just a way of playing. So we're just going to take these autumn leaves, place them onto the bridge. If I can grab hold of it, pull it down. Hey up! It's got a mind of its own. Push that down. Look at that. Now we're creating perspective. Now we're creating that vision. That is absolutely going forward. It's so pretty, right? Something about it. So I've got Arlo and I can choose to put Arlo down or choose not to, but I like him being there. It just adds that cuteness to it, that element, that cutesy point. So he can sit just here on that bridge. Now, what I want to say about that is when I put Arlo there, if I just cover that side and that side a little bit more so that you can't see the endpoints of that bridge, we don't know where that bridge ends. So it now brings the card forward because we don't have an endpoint. So that perspective could keep going for ages behind him because we're not seeing the end to it. And so it gives you something completely different. Whereas if I take it away, that's my endpoint. It's already there. So just something to note. It's just about using your composition to create different elements. Take your ball tool and we'll just shape out his little schnoz just a little bit. He's so handsome, this dog. Do his lugs. And just pull them through. And then I'm going to do his jumper. So I'm following that line across. There's cut lines underneath it. So I'm absolutely fine to go straight in and go across with that, because the fibers are already broken. All I'm going to do on the outside, and remember we need to go outside edge first, we've got to break the fibers. So all I'm going to do is just shape out his bottom, then shape out his tum, and then I can go to the center and work my spiral just on that little piece, because I don't need to do it on his whole body. It's his tummy that I want to have sticking out. So that's the place that I'm focusing on. Once I've got him there, just move that so you can see, I can just pull his head forward and he'll sit straight, but he's got all of the shaping on his tum and round his bottom and on his face. So it just gives him a little bit of extra oomph. So let's cover up the end of that perspective so we can take it further. Place his little tail underneath and make him sit straight. And I'm just covering up that perspective point. Just about there. So that now there's no end point. We don't need to worry about where that ends. It gives it a completely new story. Do you see what I mean? Because there's no end. It could go on for another mile behind him. It's just the way we play with perspective. Now this leaf, I love this so much. With this, for me, I'm not going to do the whole thing, it'll take too long. Use your ball tool, use an appropriate end. I think that's probably a little bit big for my needs, so I'm just going to go down a level. If I've got this here, I can just take it through and shape that leaf out. If I use the smaller ball tool, it's hard to see on the red, so I'll do it on the green. Each leaf is divided in two. You've got the two halves. So using your ball tool, work on the outside, but treat each side as a separate piece, as if it was a separate element altogether. Work your outsides, work your inside, and treat each one differently. Then what I can do is come in and I can just fold it on that line, and it just gives it absolute life. And that's how I would shape this whole thing out. If I was doing the whole thing, that's how I would do it. Each leaf I would fold in half. It's going to raise it up, and when I use pin flare, it's going to look absolutely incredible. So that's my advice. I won't do the whole thing. I'm just going to do the leaves as a whole because we don't have a lot of time. But that's what I would do, is just fold each one in half at the end once you've shaped it out, and you'll get this amazing, just stand out shaping. Same again here. Just going through each leaf, all the way around and back through at the bottom. I just love this so much. Now, when I turn it over, that dome is too heavy, obviously. That, you know, in nature, it's unlikely that it would sit sort of like that. So we're just going to raise it slightly, just in the centre, just to give it that shaping. And I'm going to tuck it through. Now I've got options here. I can use it from the very top and let it dangle, but it would have no sense to it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't have sense, but I like things to be sensible, so I can change and divert. What I could also do is shape it so it's at the side of that lantern. And it's the idea of it being kind of, you know, that flow coming down really pretty. Or I can take it completely away from there and I can pull it down from this side. But to me that looks off. So perspective wise or composition wise, I don't know if you'd be able to see the same I can, but this stripe of colour or this stripe of lack of colour is a problem. It's a problem area and I don't like it because it's knocking the card completely off. So it's those things that we think about. So what I'm going to do with this piece, I'll take a tiny piece of pin flare, not much, just cup it at the top. I just want that adhesion. I don't need a lot. And I'm going to lay it almost centrally, just on this piece. So it hangs down, but it has got a sweep going over. So I'm pulling the perspective that way, but I haven't got that weird clout of colour that I had when I had it coming this way, okay? But it's still off to me. There's still something wrong with it. So what I'm going to do is take this wee flower and I'm going to shape it, but I'm going to shape it from the front, not the back. So I'm going to take my ball tool, I'm going to pull it all forward, and I'm going to cup it completely out. And I'm just working with those shading lines. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to shape this piece, that centerpiece, on its own. So I'm just going to do that. I'm doing it with quite a lot of pressure on that center point, and it's going to raise everything else up into this incredible fan. And then all I need to do to finish the card and to make sense of that leaf so it's not quite so odd looking is take a ton of pin flare, raise it up, and I'm going to pop this straight on the top. So you've got this finishing point and a starting point. And suddenly we've got something that makes sense. Ground and devices, be them on the bottom or be them on the top, are the things that make sense of your card. If you can put something on that covers that, you know, that strange edge that we have, the end of a vignette, if we can put something on it, it makes sense of it. So you've got this gorgeous shaping out and these beautiful colours. Really simple to do, and it's a really beautiful card. It's the card itself, you know, we're all artists when we create with Carnation because everything's there for us to use in such an extraordinary way. It's one of the most divine collections. Look how beautiful that is. That gorgeous flow that we've got. Simply using that, because if I take that away, I know I'm going to leave pin flare, but if I take that away, it's wrong. To me, it's wrong. It's lacking. There's something missing because it doesn't make sense. So when we just pop that back and we start to make sense of it, your composition becomes full. So it's only one flower. It's just a decoupage element. That's the power of Carnation. That's why it works so well. So just to remind you all, this is the Vibrance of Autumn collection from Carnation. It's the most recent launch. This is the last live show with it here at Carnation. It's not available anywhere else at the moment. If you do purchase it today, there is a postal strike on, so it's not going to arrive with you probably until Tuesday, we don't think. Could get to you on Monday, but we're not sure. Vibrance of Autumn, the number you need is 220901, and you can get that on the website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. The price for it today is $119.99, but please don't pay that. Please use the code CCVA10 at checkout, which will give you a 10% discount across anything to do with the Vibrance of Autumn collection, including your perfect papers, including your original colorways, sorry, your alternative colorways. My brain did a thing. Your alternative colorways, it's going to give you all of the discount across everything. So today's the day to grab it. Remember to put in your perfect papers because they do make a difference. The USA, you're going to be paying shipping and handling. If you're getting the whole bundle today and the perfect papers, it's $14.95 for your postage and packaging. For the UK, if you're buying the full bundle, it would be free P&P because it's over £50. If you're just in the USA and you're just buying the main bundle, by the way, it would be $4.95 for your shipping and handling. So it's really, really awesome, and it's a great way of doing it. If you want to have a full 10% discount across the whole of the Carnation Crafts website, which is different to the code that we've given you just now, please do make sure you've signed up to the Carnation Crafts newsletter, which you can do on their website. And there is a code within that that gives you a monthly discount, and it changes each month. That will give you discount across anything that you buy on the Carnation Crafts website. So definitely the way to do it. So things like your pro print, get them stocked up while you've got the discount. Always use your discount if you can, because it is obviously 10% off. Just to give you one final shout, this little beauty that we've just done. This is not part of the main bundle. This is a separate item completely. It is the lantern die card shape, and this is on the website at 220909. The price for this today is $29.99, 10% discount if you use that code CCVA10. Just to say, obviously with this it's under 50, so you're going to be paying $2.95 postage and packing if this is all you put into your basket. So you're probably better off shoving in your papers and your perfect papers and all of those things that will, you know, take it up to £50, and then you will get your free P&P. As always, it has been amazing to spend time with you this week. I absolutely love you guys. I love doing this, and I am going to see you on Saturday. Miss Taz and I are here together, Saturday 9 o'clock and 11.
Yeah.
She sounds excited. She does not sound excited. She does not like mornings. And we will be here for 9 and 11 for Oh So Chic. Carol is saying, will there be a Christmas special vignette release for the lantern? Well, you've asked the question, Carol. That's all that matters, because once we've asked the question, Carnation know that you want it. And that's how we get things moving. So you've asked the question, hopefully is the answer. I have to say, if you cut it in white on white, you've almost got Christmas anyway. Use your other vignettes from your Christmas collection, those berries and all those gorgeous colours coming through. You're pretty much there anyway. Right, guys, I will see you on Saturday morning. Thank you so much for your company. It's always a pleasure, and it's just such good fun, and obviously it's always lovely to be here. So I will see you on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Until then, take care and be good to yourselves.